Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about a new build, which is the support heal Chronomancer for War vs World. This build already existed, by the way, but in the latest patch many traits were reworked and also some new traits were introduced, so I think this build is now very viable. And also, if you also compare it to the Scourge, which is the heal Scourge build I posted like 2 months ago, that build was nerfed quite hard in the latest patch, and so the barrier amount is not the same as before, and also that build doesn't offer healing, it just offers some alacrity and some boon strip. The boon strip maybe is still better on the heal Scourge, but everything else is much stronger on the Chronomancer. Also, the Chronomancer can now offer AoE resistance, regeneration, Chaos Aura, a lot of heals, a lot of Condi cleanses, like not as good as the Druid, but still you can be the second class on the top cleanses in my opinion, if played correctly. And also you can share a lot of stability, not comparable to the Firebrand, but still you have a lot of other options. So let's get into the build now. This is the build I've been playing the latest days, however some stuff could be changed, and most importantly the utility skills like Mesmers and Chronomancer have so many good utility skills, so it's kinda hard to choose. This is what I played, and I will explain every utility skill which is maybe viable in some situation and maybe not, and also some traits which can be changed. We run Chaos, Inspiration and Chronomancer. On Chaos we have Metaphysical Rejuvenation, grant regeneration to nearby allies when you use a healing skill, so AoE free regeneration, once every 10 seconds maximum. Then we have Illusionary Defense, grant protection to nearby allies when you use a Shatter Skill, and also if you have some clones active you will get additional protection on you and on your allies. There is also Master of Manipulation, which is a very decent trait. Manipulation grant aegis to yourself and nearby allies. However, with the current build I just run Mimic as manipulation, so I don't think it's worth it to sacrifice this much protection, which contributes immensely together with the other supports to a permanent protection party. So in my opinion you should just go Illusionary Defense. This trait here would not be so bad, but the cooldown is too high, so 75 seconds cooldown means that you will use this trait only once every fight, basically. Each fight just once activation. So in my opinion just go Illusionary Defense. Here we have another minor trait which was reworked. Gain Chaos Aura when you use your Shatter Skill 2. So you use your Shatter Skill 2 and you will apply Chaos Aura on yourself, which is good. I will cover the Chaos Aura too. Then here we have 3 traits, only one is good for supporting, is Chaotic Transference. When you grant Chaos Aura to yourself, grant it to nearby allies. When you apply Chaos Aura to an ally, grant them boons. So every time you get Chaos Aura, you will grant it to your allies, and granting Chaos Aura to allies also grant them regeneration. So this helps for a permanent regeneration uptime on your party. So let's see what Chaos Aura does. Basically you get this aura, which is called Chaos Aura of course, and while you have this aura, whenever you are attacked you will get a boon, and also the enemy will get a condition. This can happen only once per second. And basically the boons you can get are protection, regeneration and swiftness for also a lot of duration, like very kinda long duration as you can see. And also the enemies will get weakness or confusion or cripple once per attack every 1 second, not more. So in my opinion having a lot of chaos armor on you and also on your allies, it's kinda good to inflict, like weakness and cripple are very huge game changers in War vs World, because you will reduce the damage done by the enemy with weakness and also the regeneration of endurance, and also cripple 50% movement speed reduction. But also the supporting boons, which are protection, regeneration and swiftness, are huge, especially when you are inside the enemy wells. They are corrupting every boon, but still you have your Chaos Aura, which can grant you swiftness to move faster, regeneration to heal up, or protection to get less damage. So this is not an aspect I would underestimate. The other minor trait is chaotic persistence. We get some free concentration whenever we have regeneration. We will have regeneration all the time. Let's see how it changes. So right now we have 57. We apply Chaos Aura and regeneration. 73 boon duration, which is huge. So like 16 boon duration. As a Grandmaster trait, we run Bountiful Disillusionment. This trait was already strong, but the boons were only applied to yourself. With the latest rework, the boons are applied AoE around you. So your F1 will grant 3 stacks of might to you and to your allies. And just stability only on you, the stack of stability, as you can see. Then the F2 will grant you vigor to you and your allies. And also the F2 with this minor trait will grant you Chaos Aura, and Chaos Aura is shared with your allies, and whenever you share Chaos Aura or apply Chaos Aura, you get also regeneration on you and on your allies on which you just cast the Chaos Aura. So it's a lot of boons. Then on the F3, which is a single target interrupt days, we get Fury, AoE Fury for 15 seconds. This is huge because many supports cannot provide a proper Fury, but this F3 helps immensely in my opinion. The F4 will apply stability, base stability, 1.5 seconds on you as every other shatter, and also there are 3 stacks of 6 seconds of stability shared with your allies. Let's go to this guy. Hello, you are in my video now. I press my F4, I share stability with him, which is huge. And also we have our F5, which is the continuum split, which I will explain later. You press it and you share a lot of resistance. So let's get into the next trait line now. We run Inspiration, as I already said. Lesser Power Cleanse, remove condition from you and your allies when you use a healing skill. So we press our healing skill, and we get a free Condi Cleanse around us. Here you can run Restorative Mantras and also Sympathetic Visage. I personally run Sympathetic Visage. Phantasms take conditions from allies near you when summoned. This trait was reworked too. Previously it only took the conditions from yourself and not from your allies. So you summon a Phantasm with the skill right here, for example, the skill tree. It will take 1 condition per 5 targets. So from yourself and for other allies. Otherwise, you can also run Restorative Mantras. I saw some people running the Heal Mantra, which is Mantra of Recovery. This trait will grant you a lot of heal, but this only works when you finish casting your mantra. So it doesn't work when you use your charge of the mantra. So in my opinion, it's just better to go some additional Condi Cleanse. But they are both good. Check your squad composition. If you have a lot of cleanses already, you can go Restorative Mantras. But this would only work on your skill 6 and on your Mantra of Concentration if you run it, and you should run it, but not on the charges, but only on the initial cast. Here we have another interesting minor trait. Grant ages to other nearby allies whenever you give yourself Distortion or use Shatter Skill 4. So you press your Shatter Skill 4, or if you have Distortion in any other skills, which I don't run personally, you will grant another Aegis AoE, so it's another boon, another blocked attack. Then here we can run Temporal Enchanter. Glamour skills last longer. When you cast a Glamour, allies near the Glamour gain resistance and super speed. So this is very good for Nullfield, which I run. Because it's a Glamour, it will last 1 more second, so it will be another pulse of Condi Cleanse and of bone removal from the enemies. And also you will apply super speed to allies nearby and also resistance. The other 2 traits are kinda useless because I don't run focus on this build. If you run focus, you could go for this trait, Warden's Feedback, if you want. Otherwise, you have Ego Restoration, create a clone when you use a healing skill. I don't think this is worth it with my build, especially because my healing has 30 seconds cooldown and just 1 clone is useless. Then here we have another trait which was also reworked, Illusionary Inspiration. Increase healing to other allies. Summoning an illusion heals all allies around you. So this was previously only healing yourself, now it will heal everyone. You press it, you summon the illusion, and everyone is healed. Here we have Restorative Illusions. Heal and cleanse conditions from yourself and nearby allies when you shatter skill, when you use a shatter skill. This trait was also reworked, it only applied to yourself before the patch. Now it will heal everyone and also condi cleanse everyone around you, 5 targets. The base heal is like 1k as you can see, which is already strong. In War vs World Zerg fights you will not have clones active because they will instantly die. So we can use it as a base heal, is like the final heal. No clone heal 1k. Otherwise if you have up to 3 clone heals is 1600, which is good, very good. Every time you press your F1, F2, F3, F4, every time is 1k AoE heals, not counting the modifiers we have. On the Chronomancer trait line we have All's Wells that ends well. This is a big AoE heal at the end of your wells. We have 2 wells, the heal skill and the elite skill, and the elite skill, and if you use the continuum split properly we will have 4 wells or at least 3. So this is a huge chunk of your heals in my opinion. Otherwise the other 2 traits are kinda bad, so it's just the only option in my opinion. Then we have Flow of Time, gain alacrity for each clone you shatter. So you just press F1 with no clones and we get 2 seconds and a quarter of alacrity. Then we have improved alacrity. Alacrity applied to you is stronger but has a reduced duration, which is very nice. And also the other 2 traits are kinda useless. Then we have Stretched Time. Flow of Time now affects nearby allies. Grant alacrity to nearby allies when you summon a phantasm. So basically this is what makes us share our alacrity. So Flow of Time gives us alacrity each time we shatter. We shatter and we get alacrity. But now Flow of Time is shared thanks to this trait. And also we will grant even more alacrity to our allies whenever we summon a phantasm. We have phantasm on the skill 3 from the staff, if you run staff. And then also the skill 4 from the shield, sorry. For the gears, I run everything on Minstrel, Superior Rune of the Monk, because it's the best option for the heal. Unless you need more boon duration, you could go Superior Rune of the Water, but in my opinion, this build can heal a lot, especially if you don't have another druid or any other secondary support in your party, which can steal your heals or apply regeneration instead of you. Then we run Staff, Superior Sigil of Transference and Benevolence, Sword, Superior Sigil of Transference, and Shield, Superior Sigil of Energy. I went very defensive with the Superior Sigil of Energy because I need an extra dodge, maybe it can save my life most of the times. But if you want, on the Shield, since we have a skill 5 of the Shield, which is an AoE stun in front of us and also coming back to us, combined with the Gravity Well, you could also go for the Superior Sigil of Absorption if you want, which is nice to steal additional boons. I wouldn't do this, in my opinion, because you don't have really a lot of CCs, and also you could be using your Gravity Wells while you are on Staff, which has no Absorption Sigil, but still, it's just get what you need. In my opinion, energy is the best, because it makes yourself alive, and when you are alive, you are more useful than when you are dead, of course. The trinkets are full minstrel again. The relic is the relic of the monk, increase healing effectiveness to allies after granting a boon to an ally. This is 3 seconds duration and it will refresh every time, so they will not decay, but still this will have a 1 second cooldown, yet it wasn't changed, like it was supposed to be changed but it wasn't. So as you can see, I press F1, I get 1 stack, F2 another stack, F3 another stack, F4 another stack. You see the stacks don't decay, they will refresh each time you apply a new one, but the application has a 1 second internal cooldown. Let's take a look at the weapons skills. The auto attack from the staff will apply some conditions on enemies. This orb will bounce, and also if it will bounce to allies, and when bouncing on allies it will provide might and fury for a very decent duration. However, this is very messy to use in the fights because it is a projectile and also the bounces cannot be controlled. But still, you will find yourself using these auto attacks sometime because it's the only ranged option you have. Then the skill 2 is a clone teleport away from your target, summoning a clone that casts Wind of Chaos, which is the auto attack basically. So you press it, you see this clone auto attacking, and it casts basically the orb we can cast with our auto attack. This is a combo finisher leap, so what I would do is using your skill 5, which is Chaos Storm, and then your skill 2, which is a leap, and whenever you leap on a combo field Ethereal, which is our skill 5, you will get Chaos Aura, and your Chaos Aura will grant us regeneration with the traits, and also it will be shared with our allies because of the trait, of course, again, so it's very nice. Our skill 3 is Phantasmal Warlock. You press it and you summon a Phantasm which attacks the enemies, so also it is a Phantasm, and you get the traits which are triggered by Phantasm summoning, like Sympathetic Visage for example, so it's a decent skill. The skill 4 is called Chaos Armor. Basically you blind and confuse nearby foes and you get Chaos Aura, and the Chaos Aura is shared thanks to the trait, as I already said too many times maybe in this video, so free Chaos Aura. Then the skill 5 is Chaos Storm. You press it and you will see this big pulsing AoE on the ground. The first hit will daze, which is nice. You can interrupt enemies or maybe just remove a stack of stability, which is still nice. And also this field will pulse Aegis, Resolution or Swiftness, it's random, on the allies, and also it will pulse Chill, Poison or Weakness on the enemies, which are all of them very strong conditions. Poison can reduce the heal effectiveness, Weakness the endurance regeneration and reduce the damage, and also Chill 60% less movement speed and 60% less skill recharge rate. So this is very strong combined together with the Chaos Aura. Like imagine an enemy on this field attacking you while you have Chaos Aura, you will get Poison, Chill or Weakness from the field, and also your Chaos Aura, as you can see again here, will apply on the enemies Weakness or Confusion or Cripple, while granting yourself protection or regeneration or swiftness. So it's a very strong combinations. So what you have to do is using first your Chaos Aura on the Chaos Armor. So you have Chaos Aura for a few seconds. When you see the Chaos Aura is about to finish, or when it's finished, you should cast your skill 5 on in a location like where there are already enemies and also allies, so both will benefit. And then you press your skill 2 for an additional Chaos Aura, which is shared again like the skill 4. The secondary weapon set is Sword and Shield. Sword has a decent auto attack. The last chain of the auto attack will remove boons, as you can see, 1 boon from 3 targets. Sometimes you will find yourself using it, so it's not bad. The skill 2 is 1 second of evade from all attacks, and also deals a decent amount of damage, but still you are minstrel and you do like 0 damage. The skill 3, which will perform a leap on the enemy, sorry I pressed the wrong button. You cast this clone, and if you press it again, you will teleport to it and also immobilize your target. It's very risky sometimes to use it in Zergs, because you can kill yourself with it, but it's an immobilize, which is nice, and also a clone, which is nice again for your shatters. Then we have the skill 4, block incoming attacks for a short duration. If this skill fills its channel, summon a Phantasm that slows enemies and grants protection to allies. If an attack is blocked, Deja Vu is usable for a short period of time, and the Phantasm is summoned immediately. So you press it, the enemies will attack you, and you will have it again, and also you will have a Phantasm summoned. And the Phantasm also grants protection. So it's a kinda nice skill, and also can save your ass many times, because it's a 2 seconds duration block, which can save you. Then the skill 5 is called Tides of Time. You press it, you have this shield going, which stuns enemies and also return to yourself and stun again. And basically when it returns, it will grant you swiftness and might, and also if you catch the shield while it's returning, the recharge of this skill is reduced by 10 seconds. So this is another very nice skill for some additional boons, AoE stun, and so the CC in general. The Shatter skills in this build will deal like 0 damage, so you are supposed to use them to cleanse conditions from allies, to heal them, and also for the additional boons you grant with this trait, Bountiful Disillusionment. So on the F1 you have AoE damage, granting might, and of course alacrity thanks to Flow of Time shared with Stretch Time combined with Stretch Time. The F2 will grant Vigor, the F3 will grant Fury, and the F4 will grant Stability and also will make you immune to every damage. You have Distortion for 1 second per clone, so this is very important to know. And also, I forgot to say, the F2 will grant you Chaos Aura thanks to this trait here. Then we have the F5, basically, it's called Continuum Split. Destroy all your clones and create a rift in the space-time continuum. When it expires, you will revert back to your original point with your previous health, endurance and skill recharges. Duration increases with each illusion shattered. So, you press this skill and you have a short duration. Most of the time you will have zero illusions up, so it will last for like 1 second and a half. So, you press it and you have a short window during which every skill you can use will be reduced to 0 cooldown once this ends. I will show you in a bit. Let's take as example with 0 clones, so 1 second and a half duration. I cast my Gravity Well from here and I press F5. I got teleported back and I have Gravity Well again. So this is a very strong skill you should be using wisely, because as you can see it will replace you in another place, it will reposition you, so it can kill you but also it can save you, and also it can help you using a lot more cooldowns, like twice, if you use it properly and with enough clones. It's not very easy to use it when with many illusions up, but still if you manage to use it with like 2 illusions you can basically press every skill you have and then you will get them, all of them recharged. The priority to use twice is your healing skill, also the null field, and also the Gravity Well. And if you can, also the Shatter, because the Shatters are immediate, like they have no cast time. So while you press the other stuff, like let's say I have the Continuum Split up now, I cast it, this again, and in the meanwhile you can cast your Shatters, which have instant cast, so you are sure to use twice of everything. Now let's talk about the utility skills, the Elite skill and also the healing skill. The healing skill, in my opinion, should just be Well of Eternity, because it just creates a well, AoE, big AoE below you, and also it will pulse 3 times. Each pulse will remove 1 condition from allies, and at the end it will also heal for like 5k, as you can see, and also with this trait like 2k and a half again. So in my opinion this should be your healing skill, no doubts. The others are just bad. Then the utility skills are kinda hard, because there are many which are very good. There is Feedback, which is good, you cast it and it's like a Wall of Reflection, big AoE, but still I don't think this is worth it. I would run something else. Then there are also other utility skills which are very good. For example, you have the Well of Precognition, which I really like. It's maybe kind of a meme, I never saw using it by anyone else, but still you press it, you have stability on yourself and a pulsing Aegis AoE. The Aegis is pulsing. Imagine you use it twice with your Continuum Split. It means that you will apply 6 stacks of 6 Aegis like 6 times in 6 seconds or so. In my opinion it can be really fight changing, but still I am not really sure, because the Aegis could be expanded like to block a Firebrand out attack, which is like 100 damage. You cannot choose which attacks to block with the Aegis, so it's kinda of a Russian roulette in my opinion. So let's just choose what you think is better. Then there are also 2 others very strong utility skills, which are Veil. You press it, everyone passing through is a stealth and also gets super speed because of the trait we run. You can also press it, cast it again, like you can get stealth again if you pass it again. So this is very nice to engage, to initiate the fights. Sometimes the commanders will call for the Veils. If they do and you have no Chronomancer in your squad, maybe you should just go Veil. And also you can reduce the cooldown with Mimic, which I will cover in a second. Otherwise, also there is another very strong skill, which is Illusion of Life. You press it and it will perform an AoE revival of 3 targets, AoE ranged revival, which is huge. And these targets will have a boon on themselves for 15 seconds, after which, if they don't kill a foe, they will go down again. If they die, they will not go down. And if they kill a foe, they will just came back to life, like no down, no boon, no negative effects. Like they just need to survive a bit while the squad kills an enemy. This is very good, especially in War vs War, because kills happen all the time. So you revive an ally and he has 15 seconds to kill an enemy, and so he can get fully revived. This is very huge and fight changing. However, I didn't play this in the latest days because I chose this combination here, which is Nullfield and then the mantra for the stability and then the mimic. So in my opinion, Nullfield is so strong because it's a glamour, it will grant us super speed and resistance, and also it will remove boons AoE from enemies, and also it will remove conditions from allies for 6 seconds, like 6 pulses per cast. It was also nerfed by 10 seconds cooldown in the latest patch, but still I think it's very needed because it really can do it all. And also you can reduce the cooldown of Nullfield with Mimic, which is in your other utility skill, which cannot be skipped in my opinion, because you press it and you get a buff on yourself for 10 seconds, and this buff will grant the next utility skill you use a 1 second cooldown. So I press Nullfield, 1 second, and I have Nullfield again. These two combined can really strip a lot of boons and cleanse a lot of conditions. So in my opinion, these two cannot be skipped. Then we have Mantra of Concentration. You press it, it's a channeled mantra. At the end you will get stability and Aegis on you and also your allies. Then you will have 2 stacks of it, which break stun on yourself and grant stability to allies. It's like 5 stacks. It's similar to Stand Your Ground, but it has charges, so it's huge. And once you finish the stacks, you will get again 15 seconds cooldown on the Mantra of Concentration, which is the initial channeled cast. Every charge has a 30 seconds cooldown, so in my opinion you should just consume all the charges. Don't wait for the second charge to come up, because 30 seconds cooldown is a lot compared to the 15 seconds cooldown of the channeled cast. So 15 seconds on the channeled cast cooldown, and every charge can be used once every 2 seconds, and the total cooldown of the charges is 30 seconds. So just use it as I showed you now. If you feel you will need more Condi Cleanse, which shouldn't happen if you have a Druid or a Tempest or High Heal Vindicator or whatever else, a Heal Scrapper, you could also go Mantra of Resolve. You press it, and at the end of the cast you will remove 3 conditions from allies and 13 conditions from yourself. And then you will have 2 stacks of them, 2 charges, like the Mantra of the Stability. And every charge will remove 3 conditions from allies. Very strong mantra, but it should not be needed in my opinion, because you already cleanse a lot of conditions. The conditions you cleanse are basically for every shatter. You cleanse 5 conditions, like 1 from you and 4 from 4 other allies per shatter. You can also cast your shatters twice with the Continuum Split if used properly. And also you have Condi Cleanses per pulse on your Well of Eternity, and if you double cast it with the Continuum Split you have twice this, and also the same applies for the Nullfield, which removes conditions, and if you use it twice it removes twice the conditions, of course. So there's really a lot of ways to remove conditions on you and also on other support classes. In my opinion, just don't go Condi Cleanse mantra, but go for the Stability mantra, which can save you and your allies. This is a clip I filmed yesterday. There were many fights against some other guilds and some other blobs, so it's a decent example of how to play this build. Keep in mind that I am not the best Chronomancer, I almost never play this class, but still I think I have quite some knowledge on the class, even though sometimes the brain doesn't connect properly to my hands, so please forgive some mistakes I could be doing. So there is a lot of stuff going on in the fights while you play Chronomancer, because you have many buttons to play and many stuff to be careful of. So let's see it. So we are about to engage. I use my skill 3 for a phantasm, random phantasm. And then I cast my F5, as you could see, F5, and immediately I cast my elite well, which is the gravity well, and immediately I also go for every shatter I can fill in the 1.5 seconds duration of the continuum split. Okay, continuum split is over. I have my shatters again ready, and also my elite well. Then I cast my mimic. I already casted my mimic, sorry, I didn't notice. I cast my mimic and null field. Okay, null field again, gravity well again. Then my skill 5, which is an AoE stun. I cast my mantras again. You see a lot of stability. I have one charge of the stability mantra. I use it. We have like 25 stacks of stability. I kinda wasted it. I should have checked, but it's kinda hard to check all the time because also I had Firebrand, 2 Dragon Hunters which could run stand your ground, and also I had a Druid which can grant stability too. Then skill 4 for the Phantasm, F1. I have nothing left at this point. I swap back to Staff, skill 4 for AoE Chaos Aura, then skill 5, skill 2 to leap in the Chaos Aura field, so I get another Chaos Aura and share it with the allies. Now I recharge my mantra, I use 1 stack of it, I have nothing left, I swap back to Sword and Shield, skill 5 of the shield, I cancelled it, okay, it's up now. Mantra again for the stability. I recommend using your stability before using null field or continuum split or the healing skill or the elite skill, because oftentimes you could get interrupted, and it kinda sucks to get interrupted while you are in continuum split because you waste so much potential damage and heals and cleanse and CC and whatever else. So keep in mind to always have stability before you use your continuum split. Skill 4 again for the blocks. I have it ready again. I cast my mimic, so my next null field will have 1 second cooldown. Null field here, another null field here. We are Chinesing. It's like the word when the commander calls for Chinese, it means like stand in place and do whatever you can, like damage, heals, and everything. Because in China servers, most of the time the fights are still, like the Zergs are like standing still. They are not moving around a lot, so they cast everything on each other. So null field again. I have the stability mantra ready again. You should cast it while you have stability from other sources, because otherwise the channel gets interrupted, which sucks. So I have channeled it successfully. I pressed my charge of the mantra. I have gravity well ready again. I press it on the enemies. I use every shatter to remove conditions and to heal. Then the heal well. You see how much it can heal on the allies. Oftentimes on your arc DPS, if you pass over yourself, if you hover on yourself, you can see at the top the Well of Eternity, second spot sometimes it's regeneration. Here I had a druid in my party which could cleanse way more than me and heal way more than me, so it really is not a good indicator of the potential of this class, but still people are skeptic about this class, and they will not assign you a party for yourself just as a secondary support alone. This class is still treated as a third secondary support. Then skill 2 to survive, skill 4 again, Phantasm, Condi transferring the Phantasm. My skill 5 got interrupted, I cast it again, and the fight is over.